All right, so thank you everybody for being here today. Welcome to our Toolkit tours. This is actually a first of a series that we've prepared to help get you all familiar with our Toolkit solutions and present what we're working on. I will mention that this is a generic overview of our main tools, and we do plan on having some more specific tools down the line, so stay tuned for that as well. I'm Maayan, OOONA's Chief Marketing Officer, and before we begin, I want to take a couple of minutes to just explain what we'll be covering here today and go through some logistics. For those of you that are not familiar with OOONA, we are a leading company in software development for media localization purposes. For over a decade now, we've been developing software solutions for the management and production of media localization work. Today, we are a global cloud technology company with offices and support staff servicing users in over 160 countries. And we also have a very thriving global community of professionals who place their trust in our solutions. Our client roster includes language service providers of all sizes, content owners, broadcasters, freelance translators, as well as academic institutions teaching media localization the world over. Tour guides for today. Our presenters are Alex Yoffe and Shlomi Harari, two industry veterans. You are probably actually familiar with them if you've ever been at any of the events we attend. Alex is OOONA's product manager for a popular Toolkit solutions, and he will be the one to walk you through this demo today and show you our most popular tools. While Alex is presenting, Shlomi, our global account manager, will be in charge of the Q&A. So any questions you may have, please put them in that section of the webinar. We will, of course, have time for questions at the end, and Shlomi will also answer a few of them along the way. I will be available throughout this webinar for any technical assistance you might need. You can contact me through the chat. Now, before I pass the microphone over to Alex and for what you're all here for, I'd like to take you through our OOONaverse, as we like to call it, which is our ecosystem of solutions for the media market. At OOONA, we really pride ourselves on being a one-stop shop for all the needs of our media localization clients and partners. First of all, we have Integrated, which is our flagship solution for managing any media localization workflow. We have recently also launched the QA Manager, which is a solution that broadcasters really love. This is a bespoke platform for streamlining QA workflows of any type of any media asset. And if you have your own content management platform in place, I'll say you can boost your existing functionality by integrating any of our solutions via API. When it comes to production work, our Toolkit is what sets the industry standard. Offering you access from anywhere, it's available both for Mac and Windows, and this is what Alex will be walking you through today. Our ecosystem wouldn't be complete without solutions that help manage your most important asset, the people that work for you. For this, we offer a testing platform for you to set up and test your resources in any specific skill set you would like them to have. An educational platform we call EDU, offering courses and webinars such as this by industry experts with hands-on training for your staff. And last but not least, the pool, that's 3 O's, which is our marketplace of media localization professionals when you need to add a new talent to your own pool. I will now hand over the floor to Alex to talk about our Toolkit specifically. But if you are interested in any of our other solutions, feel free to have a look and contact us via our website. And of course, I'm available at the chat. So Alex.
Hello.
You can say hi. I will stop sharing and you can take over.
Okay. So I'll show my face for a second until I share my screen. All right. So here we go. You should be able to see my screen now.
Yes.
So again, my name is Alex, and I'm the product manager for the time text tools at OOONA. And that's what you're gonna see today. So we have a bunch of tools in our Toolkit suite, and they are designed for time text creation, translation, manipulation, and that's what we're going to see today. But that's not all our tools. That's just a part of I'm going to be showing today. And feel free to ask questions at the end. I'll show you the tools now. So what you see here in my screen are various apps we have at our OOONA Toolkit. Now, most of those apps are off-the-shelf products available as standalone tools. However, they are also available, in bundles in the shop. And as Maya mentioned, we also provide them over API, so they can be integrated into any management solution, workflow orchestration products. And also, those tools can be, of course, part of our flagship product, OOONA Integrated, where they are a part of workflow or orchestration solution with integrated time text tools. However, today we're going to cover some of the tools, not all of them. I'll go over one or two of them, try to be as detailed as possible, but we don't have enough time, so I'll be brief. First of all, most of these tools feature the same editor, and I'll show you one of them, and I'll also tell you the difference between the tools. They do share the same editor, but they are designed for different use cases, for different scenarios in the workflow, and I will show you how they are integrated into the workflow management solution at the end. So let's start with this one. Create Pro. Create Pro is a general purpose captioning, subtitling tool for basically editing or manipulation of caption and subtitle files. So if I have this tool standalone, if I launch it, I will just see a list of my recent projects. And if I just click on one of those projects, it will load in my web page. Now, we haven't mentioned that, but yeah, all our tools are web-based. That's why they can be easily integrated over API. But all our tools are web-based. Basically, they don't require any installation. They just work inside the browser. All you need to do is just log in with a username and password, and that's it. It also allows this tool to be cross-platform, so it works on Windows, Mac, Chrome OS, or Linux. As long as you can install the Chromium-based browser, it will work. Now, this is the tool. This is the project that's just loaded. So this is the Create Pro tool, general purpose subtitle tool. You can see it. I guess the interface is pretty self-explanatory. You have the player, you have the subtitle list here at the side. This also is an editor. It's a rich text editor, so I can type here. I can see what you see is what you get, basically, and you can do all the rich text styling, bold, italics, colors, whatever. Change positioning horizontally, vertically, you name it. Okay, that's something that you would expect in from a high-end subtitle editing tool. Of course, it measures your reading speed. It also does built-in subtitle validation, something that you set up in advance. Of course, if you have rules from a specific client, let's say, if I look at the timeline, you can see every subtitle is presented as a box at the timeline. You can see that the timeline features the audio waveform. I can zoom it in for a little bit. And those yellow vertical bars, they represent shot changes. So I can basically make the subtitles accurately timed to the audio, adjusted, snap to the shot changes if I need. And of course, if I make some mistake, and if I make like a very short subtitle, you can see here it's been flagged, and I can see right away that I have an error, and it also tells me what the error is about. In this case, it tells me the duration is less than 1 second. And of course, this is something that you would set up in advance. Every customer has its own rules, but the goal is to have like a really high-end subtitle or general purpose, time text tool to handle all various tasks related to captioning and subtitling. So it has all the bells and whistles you would expect from the professional subtitling tool. In terms of the medium, it handles both local video and cloud streams. Now, in general, all OOONA solutions are based on AWS. We are running all our solutions on Amazon Private Cloud. The security is our top goal, and we have a lot of customers with who are handling highly sensitive content. So security is our top priority. But in general, if I'm just a standalone user, I can open an audio video file from my computer without actually uploading it to the internet. So I can work with local media. However, if I want to use different AI engines, for example, for automatic transcription, I would need to upload that file, and then I would just use one of the engines to, for example, to transcribe and have like an automated captions first as my first run before I actually do the editing and polishing of my work. So that's a little bit about the tool. That's about the user interface. In general, it has the option to export like 60 or 70 different formats. We cover most, if not all, of various subtitle formats, and definitely all the industry standards. So of course it handles all the plain text files like SRT or VTT. It handles all the legacy standards like STL, SCC, PAC, etc. And of course it handles the newer generation of TTML-based files like Apple's ITT or Netflix time text or IMSC, image-based exports, etc. And all the exports, before exporting the file, you can also do frame rate conversion on the fly. You can do offsets. Those are part of the tool. It's in terms of additional features, because all of those, as I mentioned, is a good. It's really high-end subtitling tool. But what makes it, I guess, special for the to be part of the platform and not just a standalone subtitling tool is the amount of data and the connectivity over API, and the amount of data it can actually output back. All the metadata it can give back to the management solution is what makes this tool special. Now, of course, from the user perspective, you can have like a per subtitle metadata. For example, let's say I have this title, which doubles the on-screen the main title basically. So generally, you can use metadata tags. For example, you can mark this as tag it as forced narrative. You can also tag it as main title. And you can see those little tags are appearing here. Now, those tags are is generally subtitle metadata. And you can use it, one, for searchability. So, for example, you can tag specific subtitles as songs. So you can tag all songs. You can tag all foreign language dialogue. And this gives you, as I said, one, searchability, and two, the ability to filter those text subtitle on your export. So you can export forced narrative separately, without forced narrative separately, with songs, without songs, whatever. So you have full control of that. So that's one type of metadata. Another type of metadata is, for example, annotations, which is something that you can add to the subtitle and then pass it downstream. So if you're creating a master template for a second language translation, and so you can, for example, explain what El Matador is to someone who's going to be translating this to other language. You can also have like another level of metadata, which is remarks. And remarks are more like a collaboration tool. It's more an internal note. So if you're unsure if you're working on a project and you know that's going to go for either translation or maybe QC or something, and you're not sure what it is, so you can just leave a remark to someone who's going to QC and say, this is my remark. And you can see right away it pops at the top, and that basically gives the next person in the production chain an indication that something needs to be taken care of. So that's more like a collaboration item. By the way, the tool itself, so I slightly mentioned this forced narrative tags, but you can also have it as a separate track. The tool supports up to 4 different tracks on the same timeline. So technically I can go and say, okay, move this to track number 2. And you can see now my timeline is split into 2 parts, and I can also have those 2 subtitles overlapped. So if I want to make sure that both subtitles here on screen on the same time, I
so these guys just disappeared.
You can see this is the intersection area. You have the bottom line subtitle here, and you have a top line subtitle here. And basically that's not a big deal. That's not forbidden, at least in most formats, to have them different, like 2 subtitles at the same time, as long as you don't have any visual overlap, which you can check for, you're fine. But that's something that it can be used for different purposes. Of course, like one, as you saw, like forced narrative as a separate track. For script preparation, you can have like different speakers captured on different tracks. One other thing is, for example, if you're handling Japanese translation. So if I open an existing Japanese project, so you can see that's another use of 2 tracks. So you can see I have 2 subtitles here rendered on the screen. So if I go to this one, okay, this one is a vertically oriented subtitle, but this one is horizontal. It's just I pushed it to the top, so it won't interfere with the on-screen text. But here, if I play them together, okay, this is the intersection area, so you can have a vertical and horizontal at the same time. Since we're talking about Japanese, we have worked very hard to do the full implementation of Japanese, and including all the phonetic Ruby annotations, all the phonetic annotations. So for example, if you have like kanji, you can just select a specific kanji. You can click on the phonetic guide, and you can add basically that transcription of that kanji, the annotation for that. You can add botan, basically the emphasis dots for a specific symbol, or of course a group of symbols. So we have full support for Japanese. We support all the languages. This is a Unicode based system, and we also had our interface localized into multiple languages. So if you click on this globe, you can see here I can go and switch the whole interface and have this in Japanese. All the menus now are in Japanese. So as you can see here, everything is Japanese. So yeah, before I mess it up, I'll switch back to English. But that should give you an idea of the capabilities, of the editor itself. Now, as I said, most of the tools are based on the same editor. So if I go back and I'll show you some other tools, and as I said, this was like a general purpose time text editor. And we have a special use case tools which are based on the same editor. For example, they translate. So if I go to this tool and I click on one of those projects, so you can see it looks very similar, but now my editor is split into two columns. And this tool, Translate Pro, is designed for templated translation. So if I am a subtitle translator and I'm not doing the work, from scratch, I already have, in this case, I have English subtitles. So in most cases, you would of course you would make use of those English subtitles if they're timed correctly, if they're prepared correctly. All you need to do is, go and have the subtitles translated. So you can go subtitle by subtitles and have them translated and see your translation on the screen. Of course, everybody today is asking about machine translation and stuff. And yes, you could have, your first pass machine translation. Generally for, for entertainment purposes, machine translation wouldn't be enough, as a single pass. So even if you use it, you need to have a human in the loop here. But in general, the translator could have the option of machine translation. And for example, this project is English to Spanish, so I can select a provider, and basically we can, because we are, cloud-based, we technically can integrate any translation engine, any transcription engine. So if I select Amazon engine and I want to pre-translate an entire project, push run, and you can see here now I have the Spanish subtitles pre-translated. Now, it's also worth mentioning that, of course, you have when translating, it doesn't matter if you translate, automatically or manually. Some languages are longer in terms of wording, so you still could have the option of splitting the original subtitle. So, for example, if I want to split this subtitle, I could just push split. And now you can see that subtitle number 10 in the source corresponds to 10 and 11 in the target. And you can see the same representation on the timeline. If I zoom in, that's the source, that's the two subtitles at the target. You can change timing if you want, okay, if you're allowed to, or you can, again, if you're working inside of corporate environment, that option can be locked for you. Okay, so you need to stick to that template. But that's the idea of the templated translation. That's how you work. That's how you use it. So that's the translate tool, and very similar is the review tool. Again, same editor. Same editor, but the purpose of this tool is, of course, review. So it can be external review or internal review. The difference between internal and external, by external, I mean that you could send this project to someone who is not the user in your system, basically to someone without a user account. Let's say you prepare the subtitles and you want to share this with your customer to approve, to make some edits, remarks, etc. So generally, this tool has a pretty special feature of sharing a subtitles link. Sharing subtitles link, I would share the whole project. Okay, so all I need is just to specify the target email, the email of that person I want to share with, who share in this. Basically, this URL is will be open to that person to add it, so that person can add it, make remarks, etc. The tool itself is all about tracking changes. So here you can see it says 0 changes. So changes between the original version and the edited one. So technically you can see here, I can see both versions side by side, the original version and the one I could edit. And when I see 0 changes, that means that the text is still identical. So I don't need to have to see the original text. All I care is about this one, which I want to edit. But basically, once I've shared the project, for example, with a customer, or even if it's an internal reviewer or QCer, any change, so if I'm add something, or if I want to delete something, maybe I want to modify, make this subtitle longer, like that. You can see here, this counts 3 changes. So all those changes, when the project gets back to me after that review, I can jump between all of those changes. So I can jump, jump from next change and next change and next change. Or I can just click on this button and see all the changes color coded. So you can see, for example, here I have the timecode change. Here I have in green, I have something that I added. In red, I have something that I deleted. But and if I don't like any of those changes, by the way, I can just simply click on that red X, and it will revert the project to its original state. Now, when this tool is used in internal review, this could be done not just, you can not only do edits, you can also categorize those added by picking the right error code. So here you can see I can pick something from this list. For example, I can pick a misspelling. This was a misspelling, and this was, for example, a punctuation error. And this adds a little tag to here. And those error codes then can be, exported into a QC report. So I can go export a summary to Excel and have this shared with linguists, for example, for, to give them some feedback. That's about the review tool. Now it's also, you can see here that the tool itself will do all the same edits. It will count all the same errors. It will allow all the same time text manipulation with time codes and text, etc. So once you've done, you can just simply go and export the file to your final deliverable and send this to your customer once you're made sure that everything is okay. So that's the review tool. As I said, for can be done for project sharing or internal QC. If I go again, cover some other tools. So let's do the Transcribe. And this tool is a scripting tool. A scripting tool, which means it's designed for to create dialogue lists and dubbing scripts. So the editor itself is very similar to the rest. Okay, it's the same editor. It's just you see a bigger chunks of text, because this text is not supposed to be on screen. Although you see it and you can read it on the screen, it's not supposed to be on the screen. It's not subtitles, which the viewer would see. It's something that you would eventually export into some Word document or Excel document. So here you see the full dialogue cues, and you can also see some metadata about who is speaking, basically the character ID, and also some additional data which you can add, whether the character is on screen, off screen, who is for example, the actor who's that is going to be dubbing this character. And of course, you still have the same editing capabilities, you still have the same annotations, you still have the same remarks, you still have the same importing and exporting capabilities as all the other tools. Now, one more tool, which is based on the same editor. No, I don't want to save it. I'll show you the audio description tool. All right. So here's another use of tracks, of different tracks. So audio description is a more, let's say, complicated thing because it involves more technical processes. But it starts, of course, with the script writing, and script writing is it's still a very manual thing. There's no AI at the moment, at least, which can write the AD script for you. But once you've written that AD script, you need to voice it and then mix it. And the voicing part, of course, is something that is pretty developed. We do have like a very robust technology of text to speech, and in the case of audio description, the synthetic voice, which actually needs to be like flat as opposed to like actors dubbing. This is like a very good example of using synthetic voices. Now, the AD script, again, the same editor, and you can see this, those yellow bits in the editor are the AD script. At the bottom are the actual captions. So the blue one here and the blue one here are the actual captions. So you don't need to have the captions in the AD project, but I just wanted to visualize it for you so you can have both captions and audio description in the same project. And in general, of course, the caption, if you import a caption file or if you auto-generate a caption file, it would give you some edge before you start the AD script creation. So if you import, for example, your caption file, you can go and say generate AD track, and the software will analyze the gaps between those captions and just create a placeholders for AD scriptwriter, which can save you some time. But otherwise, if I can just play a little, so I'll just play two captions, and this bit is audio description.
Tarred, feathered, and spit roasted. Excuse me, sorry.
Cavalcanti goes into the cafe. He looks at the waitress, then picks up a phone.
I believe you could hear that. So the voicing part, and this was generated by a synthetic male voice, which I added to my remarks, but you could have different voices as well in the audio description, but you typically do not do this. Now, once you've written your AD script, of course, the next stage is voicing, and the voicing can be done either by human voicer or by machine, by synthetic voice. So if you still want to do old school, and there are content providers who still want the audio description voiced by humans, you can press on the record button, and the voicer, the human voicer, can record the description, basically read it out. But you can also use the other option of generate, and this will use the synthetic voice. And the synthetic voice, of course, is something that you pre-configure. You can go to product settings, you can go to audio description, you can select the synthetic voice defaults, which is the provider, which is your engine, basically the speech to text engine. You would pick the country, and the country corresponds to an accent. So in this case, my product is set to English. So you can see here, I can select a list of available English accents, and then I would pick the available voice. So I can pick the voice for this. With this accent, I can also set up the default speed, pitch, volume, etc. But that's how it works. And once you've done your script writing, you can just go to the audio description tab and say generate all or generate missing, and that will just run the speech text to speech engine on all the all the items in the on the project, all the events of the project, and then you can just go and QA and see how it actually looks, how it sounds. So that's the ED. Even if you render it, even if you have it rendered by synth voice, it's still something that you can post edit. Generally, you can like select a word if it was not pronounced correctly and specify the right pronunciation, like type the transcription, or you can select like the whole caption or just a phrase and go to intonation editor and try to play with intonation. For example, you can start higher, lower. So basically you can adjust that curve, and also play with the speed, with pitch, with volume, etc. So this is something that of course takes time, which is kind of contradicts the whole text-to-speech like automation paradigm, but you can still do this. If it's like minor edits in the QA process, yes, of course you can do this, and you can basically re-render it and fix whatever is not doesn't sound as you want. So that's the audio description. So that's basically the different. You could see the similarity. As I said, it featured all the tools are based on the same editor, same time text editor. We have some other tools which are not based on the editor. For example, like conversion, the convert tool or batch convert, which are simply a simple conversion tool. Sometimes you need to convert different caption or subtitle files into a different format, and those are user interface, graphic user interface, but this is the same tool which is accessible over API, so you can configure the conversion, the subtitle conversion tool over API and use it over API. You have the burn and encode tool, which is basically hard codes subtitles into the video, so creates a video with hard-coded subtitles. Very, very simple tool, yet very useful if you just need to create a one-off. It's not for mass production, but yeah, it will take pretty much any subtitle file and will render it locally. So it's in this case, it does not actually upload the file, the video to the cloud. It will use your local video file and it will create the target, the burnt-in copy on your computer. There is a tool to compare files. Basically, if you have two files which you're not sure if they're the same or not, so you can use this tool to do the comparison. There's a subtitle slicer, which allows you basically to create an edit list, basically in and out points, and load a bunch of files. For example, you have the same content, the same episode in 20 languages, and you need to remove specific segments in all the languages. So you just create an edit list of in and out and just load all the files and say, okay, just remove those segments. So that's very useful for subtitle conform jobs. There's a tool called TTML Renderer, which is based on IMSC.js basically, and it allows you to load any TTML or IMSC file and basically see the exact preview, same font, same positioning, how it will look in the player in the browser. And what else? So we have a fairly new tool which is called SyncCheck, and SyncCheck is the tool when you can take a bunch of media files, subtitle files, dump them into that tool and check whether they are in sync or not. So that's what it does. It checks whether subtitle is in sync with a specific media. That's about it. That's very, very briefly about the tools. Now, I want actually to show you maybe one page of the integration of how those tools integrated into a workflow management solution. Now, here, for example, I have a work order example, so just a title called Meridian, episode 3, and it goes to the target languages are English, French, Spanish, German. And if I want to go to the basically drill down to the workflow itself, how I'm gonna localize this project, and here you can see how the tools are integrated. So if you go from top to bottom, you would see that, okay, you start from a pre-production, which and you're receiving the video. This is your first task, which actually triggers the whole process. But then, for example, you need to create an English master template. So English master template, you can split up into several tasks. In my case, it's captioning and post-editing. And here you can see you can assign a captioning task and affiliate this with the tool. Okay, you can see here, this is the tool, and this is the Create Pro I showed you. Okay, this is the general purpose subtitle tool. So basically, a user who is assigned a resource assigned to this task basically logs into the system and says, okay, I have a captioning task or a post editing task. Okay, and basically pushes the button. This opens the tool with the video, with the subtitles if it already has subtitles, and allows the person to work. And you can also see that this is the how you can assign resources. And in this case, the captioning, I assigned an engine instead of the human resource. Okay, so resource can be an engine or a human. In this case, Jessica Smith is assigned to post editing. Okay, she's a freelancer, and ASR Amazon is an engine. And you can assign different tasks to different resources, whether those are engines or human resources, freelancers, vendors, etc. So in this case, yeah, captioning was assigned to Amazon, post editing was assigned to Jessica Smith, which is obviously human. And this basically post editing task, once it's completed, triggers all the translation tasks. And translation task, you could see that you could assign it to a human, you can assign it to an engine, but that's basically how the tools are also integrated into the workflow management solution. So I guess that will be all in terms of what I wanted to show you today, and I believe we need to have some room for Q&A.
Yes, thank you, Alex, very much.